Sigourney Weaver isn't saving you from these aliens. This is Sega Masters. It may be a new year, and Nintendo may be reinventing the video game industry, but Sega was still leaning on an old habit of relying on ports and adaptations of their stable of arcade titles. Sega released 3 coin-op tie-ins for their console in March of 1988, and the first one we'll look at is Alien Syndrome. The game centers around a pair of space commandos named Ricky and Mary, who are on a rescue mission to a series of space colonies that have been overrun by hostile xenomorphs. Our hero's mission is simple: board each station and save the human crews that have been captured, while exterminating any aliens that cross your path. On top of that, each colony has a self-destruct mechanism that has been activated as a backup plan, so you're racing the clock to rescue the humans and escape from the level before it explodes. So yes, this game is clearly inspired by James Cameron's classic sci-fi horror flick Aliens, if the box art hadn't already tipped you off. I'm guessing Sega couldn't get the actual license for the film itself, so they did the next best thing. The original 1987 arcade game was an overhead run-and-gun that allowed 2 players to simultaneously explore a large, multi-scrolling environment while carving up an endless army of extraterrestrials. While the coin-op didn't set the world on fire, it is considered a minor classic, so it's no surprise Sega would convert it to the Master System with the help of Sanritsu, a Japan-based company that essentially became a second-party developer for them, not unlike Rare for Nintendo. At first glance, the home version appears to follow the same core gameplay as the arcade version, again using a top-down view. However, a few changes were made during the conversion, causing this cart to feel more like a remake than a straight port, and not a very good one. For starters, the 2-player simultaneous option is absent. Instead, Ricky and Mary are forced to take turns on separate quests that have no interaction with each other. The large open environment that scrolled 8 ways is also gone. Each stage is now pretty much made up of a series of interconnected rooms you move through screen by screen, just like The Legend of Zelda. As you enter each room, the aliens slowly teleport in to greet you, and when you gun them down, more creepies will appear to take their place within seconds. So you're better off just trying to get through the room as quickly as possible, especially since the aliens can kill you with just one touch. Your default gun is pretty weak with a short range, but thankfully you can exchange it for better weapons by touching the lettered panels on the walls. The flamethrower has just as short of range but is more powerful, while the laser rifle can reach across the entire screen. Other power-ups can be obtained as well, such as invincibility and a room-clearing smart bomb. The graphics and audio are a step down from the arcade version as expected, but even ignoring that comparison, the presentation still doesn't fare very well. While plenty of color is used to try and replicate the coin-op's visuals, the environments are composed of a mostly unappealing mix of hues and grays. The sprites aren't bad, but their animation is slightly stiff, and the aliens look more cute than threatening, which doesn't quite fit in with the theme of the game. The soundtrack mostly consists of a few dull, droning background tunes that fail to add any tension and suspense to the atmosphere, and is undermined by the dorky sound effects. You do get some cool high-pitched screams when your character dies, though. Once the last human in the stage is saved, the music will change to let you know the exit door is now open, and you should thus make your way to said exit to escape from the ship. However, don't think the level is complete should you safely slip through the door, as you must first defeat a large boss alien before moving on to the next colony. The self-destruct clock is still ticking as well, so you need to slay this monster as quickly as possible. Unlike the other sprites, the bosses are well crafted with some cool, grotesque designs, though their battles take place on a plain black background. Inflict enough damage to kill the boss, and you're awarded your bonus points before beginning the next level. The game contains 7 total stages, culminating in a showdown with, I'm assuming, is the leader of the aliens or something. But like most of Sega's arcade ports, Alien Syndrome isn't much fun to play due to its brutal difficulty level. In fact, this cart borders on being completely unfair due to some glaring flaws and overall cheapness. While the controls are simple, they still manage to feel slightly awkward and sluggish, especially when moving or firing diagonally. and you're stuck using the standard Master System gamepad as this game is not compatible with the Genesis controller. Your weapon does not have a good firing rate, leaving you defenseless for seconds at a time, which is all your foes need to knock you out. It's also way too easy to have an alien suddenly appear beneath you, resulting in more than a few unavoidable deaths. And of course, when you do perish, you respawn right where you died at but without your special weapon, leaving you with your useless default gun. In addition, you'll be wishing Sega had included the map feature from the coin-op, since it gets tedious having to search every nook and cranny for the last few humans, especially with the more maze-like layouts of the later levels. The boss battles are even more unforgiving. These monsters often back you into a corner and kill you easily with a three-way bullet pattern that's nearly impossible to dodge. It also doesn't help that the hit detection is quite sloppy, and nailing the boss's weak spot is more of a matter of luck. And you need to make sure you have one of the special weapons if you want to succeed. Should you die and restart the battle with your pea shooter, you might as well give up right there since you basically have no chance. Finally, it's back to the title screen once all your lives are used up. No continues or any level select codes are offered. When all is said and done, Alien Syndrome feels too much like a lazy conversion job to be worth your time. Even with the differences from the coin-op, this cart still could have been decent had the difficulty been toned down and gameplay flushed out. Instead, we're left with yet another disappointing entry in the Master System library, and even those who never played the arcade version will be hard-pressed to endure the frustrating action and subpar presentation to find any enjoyment. Better versions of Alien Syndrome can be found on the NES and Game Gear, and the arcade original is emulated on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection, so no real reason exists for you to pick this dud up.